Good morning. My name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and a host of To Take Your Life Back Today show. I pray that you all put your shoes way under the bed at night so that you have to get on your knees to retrieve them. And while you're on your knees and down there, thank God and for the grace and the mercy and understanding. We all fall short of the glory. We all got plenty. Prayer. Pray that we go out and touch somebody today. Pray, God, somebody out there needs me today. Someone out there needs for me to speak to them. Receiving gifts should not be abused. And while it is good to have money, I warn you against abusing your gift for material wealth. And when we all have the unique gift to go out and touch people, to affect the people, we should utilize that gift. Understand that gift. Protect that gift. Appreciate that gift. Utilize that gift. Don't abuse that gift. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. Now, I've been blessed to make a fairly decent living in my life. But I can't take it with me, and neither can you. It's not how much you have, but it's what you do with it. Folks, that is such a true statement. When you take your slippers off tonight, push them under your bed. And while they're under your bed, climb into your bed and go to sleep. And when God gives you the opportunity to wake up again in the morning, get on your knees and retrieve those slippers. And thank God while you're on your knees. I call it kneel mail. Thank God that you have another beautiful day. Ask God for mercy and forgiveness. Thank God that you have a roof over your head and you have food. That is kneel mail. Folks, Larry Geis from the Geis Academy is an addiction recovery coach, a life coach. 516-458-2741. Larry Geis and I always tell folks like you, it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter where you've been. What matters most is that you're here today for a brighter tomorrow. Go to www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy. 516-458-2741. Start today with Kneel Mail. K-N-E-E-L Mail. That is your direct line to the Lord Jesus Christ. I want to discuss 9 ways to help a friend or family member with depression. All of a sudden, your best friend stops calling. Let me just adjust this. He or she no longer wants to join you for yoga on this Saturday morning like you've always done for so many years. The last time you saw her, she looked fragile. She looked sad, like someone else was living in her body. Her husband doesn't know what to do, so he solicits your help in trying to cheer her up. Maybe it's your sister or your brother. He or she has been struggling with depression for a few months now. He or she's been to a psychiatrist and on antidepressant medication, but he or she doesn't seem to be making much progress. What do? I've been on the giving and the receiving end of kind-hearted attempts to lift depression more times than I'd like to count. While every case of this maddening mood disorder is unique and responds to different types of treatments, there are a few universal things you can try to guide your depressed friend or family member down the path of healing, down the path of recovery. The first thing you need to do is to educate yourself. Although people are better educated on depression and anxiety today than they were maybe 2 decades ago, we still have a long way to go on understanding how the brain operates. While some people smile as they get run over by a truck, and others cry uncontrollably at the mere thought of that, it turns out that more is going on in your noggin than just a bunch of lazy neurotransmitters that can't deliver messages to certain neurons. You don't have to be a neuroscientist to help a friend or a family member with a mood disorder, but some basic knowledge on depression and anxiety is going to keep you from saying well-intentioned but hurtful things. It's just hard to help someone if you don't understand what the person is going through. Number 2 is ask a lot of questions. Whenever one of my clients or people that call me are sick or injured, I start with a series of questions like, where does it hurt? How long have you felt this bad? Does anything make it worse besides maybe going to work? Does anything make it better besides the fact that they probably love ice cream? Just by asking a few basic questions, I can usually get enough information to determine a plan of action. With depression and anxiety, questions are crucial because the terrain is so vast and each person's experience is so different. Your friend may be desperate that he or she has a suicide plan in action for weeks, or he or she could be under a lot of stress at work. He or she could be having a severe episode of major depression, or just need a little more vitamin D. You won't know until you start asking some questions, and here are a few to consider. When did you first start feeling bad? Can you think of anything that might have triggered your situation? Do you have suicidal thoughts? Is there anything that makes you feel better? What makes you feel worse? Do you think you could be deficient in vitamin D? Have you made any changes lately in your diet? Are you under more pressure at work? Have you had your thyroid levels checked? Number 3, help them learn what they need to know. I used to rely on my doctors to tell me everything I needed to know about my health. I don't do that anymore because they don't know me as well as my family and friends. Psychiatrists and psychologists have expertise in some areas, which can be critical feedback as a person begins to tackle the monster of depression. However, so much other valuable information is tucked away in the memoirs or memories with friends and families that could guide a person off despair. Remember, your friends and family know you best. For example, during the most recent relapse that a friend of mine had, his older sister kept insisting that I probe into their hormonal imbalances, and I said, okay, I'll suggest that. You haven't been well since you've had your kids, this person said about their their sister. So someone reminded me that thyroid disease runs in their family, and I suggested getting a thyroid checked out. Initially, I was annoyed by the opinions since it required more work on my part. When I couldn't take watching this person in pain anymore, I sought after, I suggested, I should say, a holistic doctor who could piece together her problems with thyroid and maybe pituitary glands and address the hormonal imbalance and contribute so heavily to their depression. You know your sister, your friend, your brother, your father better than most mental health professionals, so help them solve the riddle of their symptoms. Together, consider what could be on the root of their depression psychologically, emotionally, or spiritually. Where is the disconnect? Number 4, talk about stress. You can be drinking kale and pineapple smoothies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, meditating with Tibetan monks for 8 hours a day, sleeping like a baby at night, and yet, if you are under stress, your veins are flooded with poison and your mind's under fire. About 5 pages into every psychology book, there is a paragraph that says stress causes depression. I think it should be under page 1. There is just no way around it. Stress is bad stuff, as long as it's pouring cortisol into your bloodstream, you aren't going to get well. So one of the biggest jobs of a friend or a relative or someone who is struggling with depression is to help the person construct strategy to reduce stress. They don't need to quit their jobs. They can keep their kids. However, they may need to make significant lifestyle changes and be sure to introduce self-care into every day. What is that self-care? 5-minute breaks here and there to take some deep breaths, or an hour massage once in a while, or maybe a day off here and there. Maybe even go play some golf and go hiking. Number 5 is talk about support. It doesn't matter what the illness is, cardiovascular disease, colon cancer, fibromyalgia. A person needs support for his and her full recovery. People with whom they can vent and swap horror stories. Folks that can remind them that they are not alone, even though their symptoms make them feel that way. Research shows that support groups aid the recovery of a person struggling with depression. Remember that the support line is one of the biggest things in life. I mean, look at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and some of the other game shows. They have a link where when somebody needs help, they can ask for a lifeline, a support line. And that's exactly what this is related to, is that support line, because when you get that help from someone else, it really does help you in your own life. Number 6, remind them of their strengths. Just yesterday morning, I saw someone on TV who was having suicide thoughts during their yoga class. It was one of those painful hours when I just couldn't even watch it anymore because it was kind of sad. Instead of being gentle or having gentle thoughts, I said to myself, imagine being in that situation, and while you're doing yoga, you have suicide thoughts because your stress and your depression is that bad. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter what you're doing, depression will just show up, even during simple yoga class. And this was on TV, and I was just totally amazed by this. And, you know, all I kept saying to myself is somebody has to tell this person, you are strong, you are worth everything in the world to so many people. And I think that's what we need to do with each other when you have a friend or something that is going through depression stages, is you need to encourage them. You need to lift them up. I always like to say, and people laugh at me, so I like to nudge people. Because when you nudge people and you compliment them and you encourage them, it gets better. Remind your friend, sister, brother, or dad that their strengths are worth more than any weakness. Bolster their confidence by recalling a lot of their own accomplishments they've made and victories they've won. Number 7 is make them laugh. As I mentioned in my previous video, maybe about 2 weeks ago, 10 things I do every day to beat depression. Research says that laughing is one of the best things we can do for our health. Humor can help us heal from a number of illnesses. Some of those illnesses are major illnesses, or they can be little illnesses, but laughing and smiling is so healthy for you. So when you have a friend or someone that's depressed, make them laugh. Number 8 is pass on some hope. If I had to name one thing, or a person said to me, when I was doing the study on depression, it was, you won't always feel this way. They will pass. Depression will pass, but you need to get hope from somewhere. It's a simple statement of truth that holds the most powerful healing element of all, hope. As a friend or a family member, your hardest job is to get your friend or brother or dad or sister to have hope again, to believe that there will be a better tomorrow. Once their heart is there, their mind and body will follow shortly. And number 9 is to listen. You could disregard everything that I have said on this video, but if you just listen, suspend all your judgment, save all interjections, do nothing more than make excellent eye contact and open your ears with the person that you're dealing with that's depressed, that is worth more than all 8 other things I just said. I suspect the most basic and powerful way to connect to another person is to listen, and eye contact. Just listen. Perhaps the most important thing we ever give each other is our attention, and especially if it's given from the heart. When people are talking, there's no need to do anything but receive them. Just take them to listen to what they're saying. Care about it. Most of the times, caring about it is even more important than understanding it. And remember what I said in the beginning, and I'm going to just go over it one more time. I pray that you all put your slippers under the bed tonight. And I ask you, when you wake up in the morning, that you retrieve those slippers. And then you're on your knees and you pray to the Lord for another beautiful day. And while you're down there, thank God for grace. Thank God for mercy and understanding. We all fall short of the glory. We all got plenty. Pray. Pray that we go out and touch someone today. Pray, God, somebody out there needs me today. Receiving gifts should not be abused, and while it is good to have money, I warn you against abusing your gift for material wealth. And we all have that unique gift to go out and touch people, to affect people Do it today. Understand that gift. Protect that gift. Appreciate that gift. Utilize that gift. Don't abuse that gift. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. Now, I've been blessed to make a fair living in my life, but I can't take it with me. Neither can you. It's not how much you have, but it's what you do with what you have. Folks, I hope you have the best day of your life. I hope you have an enjoyable day of your life. But I pray that you reach out to God for the rest of your life and put on those slippers and walk with God 24/7. Thank you.